Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. During today's Law and Justice Party convention, held in the city of Katowice, Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki presented the governing party's 5 campaign promises for entrepreneurs. One of them is a payment of 500 zloty for small businesses. The payment will be made by way of a social insurance tax relief.
Przede wszystkim musimy dbać o małych, średnich.
More than anything, we need to take care of Polish small and medium business owners. Today we are unveiling a very beneficial package for them, a package for business owners which will signal to all entrepreneurs that the state has their back, that the state wants to be engaged and serve you the best it can. In this package for business owners we have policies such as 500 zloty for all micro, small and medium enterprises. These 500 zloty amount to the average discount of the payments these business owners are obliged to make to ZUS, the social insurance institution. It will be a discount at a level which we have never seen before in Poland.
Którzy zarabiają powyżej 10 000 złotych w przychodach co miesiąc.
Przed nami jest pytanie.
The question is, will this future be a continuation of the plan of our politics, or will it take us back to how it was before? Our opponents are trying to be this innocent sheep that hides before a beautiful lady, but we can clearly see a wolf hiding there, and this wolf has a specific surname. I'm not going to say it here. Today, in the city of Sosnowiec, we hear all the stories that have nothing to do with reality, that are supposed to scare people, and that is another attempt to manipulate polls.
Eleganckiej pani.
The latest pre-election opinion poll conducted by Estimator for the Dojeci PL website suggests that the currently ruling Law and Justice Party maintains a significant lead before the parliamentary elections, which take place on the 13th of October. The party, led by Jarosław Kaczyński, is forecast to receive 48% of the votes.
According to the opinion poll conducted between September 17th and 19th, 4 political groups would enter parliament. First would be the Law and Justice Party with 48.1%, which is a rise by 0.9% compared to last week's surveys. The Civic Coalition, consisting of the Civic Platform, Modern, Polish Initiative and Green parties, would come second with 27.9% of the votes. The left wing, comprising of the Democratic Left Alliance, Spring and Together parties, could count on the support of 13.2%. Followed by the Polish coalition of the Polish People's Party and the Cookies 15 movement on 6.1%. In terms of mandates, with such an outcome, the Law and Justice would have a majority with 250 MPs. The Civic Coalition could count on 141 seats, the Left on 53 and the Polish coalition 16.
The White House has confirmed that the official meeting between the Polish President, Andrzej Duda, and the American President, Donald Trump, will take place on Monday in New York. The 2 heads of state are expected to discuss increasing the American military presence in Poland, as well as Polish eligibility for the United States visa waiver program.
The meeting between the 2 presidents will take place after the Freedom and Religion Forum ends. The last time the 2 heads of state met was in June, when the Polish presidential couple officially visited Washington. The head of Andrzej Duda's chancellery, Krzysztof Szczerski, announced that the decision on including Poland in the US visa waiver program of the US should be known by September 30th.
An investigation into the breakdown of the incineration plant in the Czajka sewage treatment plant was begun on Friday. According to a spokesman for the Praga-Warsaw District Prosecutor's Office, the alleged mismanagement involved inadequate supervision during the modernization and expansion of the sewage treatment plant.
The prosecutor and the spokesman for the Praga-Warsaw District Prosecutor's Office, Marcin Saduś, said that the investigation concerns the construction of the sewage sludge thermal waste treatment station carried out until December 2012, as well as the inappropriate operation and maintenance of the station, which resulted in serious damage in the company. The prosecutor's office said that the act is punishable by up to 10 years imprisonment. On Thursday, media reported that the Central Anti-Corruption Bureau filed a notification regarding the sewage sludge incineration plant from the Czajka sewage treatment plant, which has not been operating for months. The spokesperson for the Chief Inspectorate of Environment Protection, Agnieszka Borowska, said that the breakdown had been hidden since December, despite the fact that over 700 million euro was spent on the modernization of the sewage treatment plant.
Tensions in the European Union over the issue of migration are flaring up again as EU interior ministers prepared to gather in Malta on Monday for an EU summit on migration. Today, the NGO vessel Ocean Viking arrived in Malta with more than 200 migrants on board. The Maltese authorities have allowed only 35 migrants to disembark, asking other EU member states to receive the rest.
In total, 265 migrants arrived in Malta by boat today. The authorities say that their resources have been overstrained. The NGO vessel Ocean Viking was allowed to disembark 300 migrants in Malta last month as well, after a number of EU states promised Malta to share the migrants amongst them. Nevertheless, the vast majority of them are still in Malta, stretching the island's limited reception facilities. The EU summit in Malta on Monday is intended to finalize a temporary solution based on a voluntary relocation mechanism for a coalition of migration-friendly EU states. Meanwhile, the situation is also worsening in the eastern Mediterranean as Turkey has decided to limit its operation aimed at stopping Syrian nationals from making the short journey of only a few kilometers to the Greek Aegean islands off the Turkish coast. Last night, news reporters witnessed another dingy full of migrants arriving on the island of Lesbos. According to the International Rescue Committee, more than 4,000 migrants have arrived on the island since the start of September. Asylum centers on Lesbos have a capacity to house 4,000 migrants, but with the spike in arrivals, they currently houses almost 14,000, prompting Greek authorities to demand that other EU states share the burden. A European Council summit in Brussels on October 18 has been announced by French and German leaders as the starting point for a permanent solution to the European migration crisis. EU states in Western Europe propose that a mandatory migrant relocation mechanism be introduced for all EU member states, a policy fiercely opposed by a number of states in Central and Eastern Europe, including Poland and Hungary.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.
Hello, and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. The forecast for tonight calls for partly cloudy skies in Warsaw and Lublin, where we will see a temperature of 8 degrees centigrade. The rest of the country can expect partly cloudy skies with a high of 10 degrees in Gdańsk and a low of 5 degrees in Krakow. Tomorrow we can expect a bright and sunny day. Only in the northeast, in Gdańsk, Olsztyn and Białystok, can we expect partly cloudy skies. The highest temperature can be expected in the northwest, where the cities of Zielona Góra, Poznań, Bydgoszcz and Szczecin can expect a high of 21 degrees, while the coldest spot on the map will be Olsztyn at 18 degrees centigrade. That is all for now. I thank you for joining us, and I wish you all a very pleasant evening.
Poland Daily Business Edition. Tonight our guest is Jerzy Bielewicz, financial analyst and Gazeta Bankowa writer. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you for your invitation.
The shockwaves were sent through the world economy while Iranian Houthi missiles hit the Saudi Arabia oil industry, cutting 10% of the world export of the fuel. And this looked really serious this weekend, but now it's not. So why?
Because it was on Saturday. That's good news because we've got a little bit time to see what are the damages, and on Monday we were prepared on the financial markets. So it's a good that if they did it during the week, the impact could be much bigger. But anyway, the oil prices jumped by 20% on Monday. But today we have Thursday, and for a week the increase is just 6%. So the situation is very
the
stable
standard
right
variation,
now.
3% up, 3% down. Like no one really pays attention to that.
But it would be a different story if not a new player, new guy on the block. The United States as a leading producer of crude oil. If not for this, probably we would enter the similar crisis as in 1970s, when supplies of oil were cut as well, and there was a turmoil not only on the oil market but on the currency markets as well. And we could expect the similar situation this time, if not for the role of the United States on the oil market. And it shows very well in Poland. The gasoline prices, did not increase until now. They are still below 5 zlotych per liter. And most probably we would not notice this tragic event in Saudi Arabia. I would have to add that for Poland, the cooperation between the United States and Poland in energy sector is very beneficial, especially for the country which location is next to Russia and was many times Russian used this oil and gas imports to Poland.
According to Vladimir Putin PhD thesis, the coercion made by the prices of energy made force the government of the countries to comply with political demands of Russia, and that's how they play this game since 1970s, because that's a really long tradition. For me, there is one important thing, connection between energy and security in a very simple sense. Those installations that are crucial to the security of the country should have been defended.
Yeah, and it shows that there is, for Saudis, that there is a lot of work ahead of them, and the security should be increased in the region. And good that it's just a regional conflict, and that it's not going to turn into the war in the Middle East. I think, again, it's because stabilizing role of the United States in...
Should we think about greater defense of our strategy assets, like the Naftoport in Gdańsk, like the LNG terminal near Szczecin, like projected infrastructural developments here in Poland?
But that's what we're doing by cooperation in another sector, military sector, with the United States. Just in July, we signed an agreement with the United States. Mr. Trump and Mr. Duda, the presidents of both countries, signed the agreement that U.S. Army would be present in Poland. I would say we are playing, for example, nuclear power plants in Poland. So the security aspect is very, very important. And, for example, pipeline from Norway and Denmark to Poland is another very, very strategic asset which we would have to guard to be secure in energy.
If the situation becomes more volatile, we should be prepared and have our economy secured also.
But right now we are, I would say, the safe haven. We look like a safe haven in Europe, with Germany on the brink of a recession, Poland with its own central bank and Polish currency, with the growth of 4.5% and inflation about 2.5%. The banking sector, the financial sector, doesn't have to worry about its profits and balance sheet because of a very good situation in Poland. So we've got to invite investors to Poland and keep it going.
And tell them we are secure country. Jerzy Bielewicz of Gazeta Bankowa and financial analyst was our guest, sir. Thank you very much for participating.
My pleasure.
That was it for tonight's Poland Daily Business.
Hello, and welcome to Poland Daily Weather. The forecast for tonight calls for partly cloudy skies in Warsaw and Lublin, where we will see a temperature of 8 degrees centigrade. The rest of the country can expect partly cloudy skies with a high of 10 degrees in Gdańsk and a low of 5 degrees in Krakow. Tomorrow we can expect a bright and sunny day. Only in the northeast, in Gdańsk, Olsztyn and Białystok, can we expect partly cloudy skies. The highest temperature can be expected in the northwest, where the cities of Zielona Góra, Poznań, Bydgoszcz and Szczecin can expect a high of 21 degrees, while the coldest spot on the map will be Olsztyn at 18 degrees centigrade. That is all for now. I thank you for joining us, and I wish you all a very pleasant evening.
Good day, everyone. My name is Maria Kądzielska, and this is Poland Daily Culture. Have you ever wanted to meet a magician? Today you've got a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, Magician Y.
Hello.
Thank you for being with us. Hopefully he won't make us all disappear. But let's ask him a few questions. Your name is Magician Y.
Yes, just why? Friends call me why.
Why? Why?
Because, you know. No, when I was a teenager and I was fascinated by magic, I read a legend. The legend was saying that the person that would take Y as a name, the letter Y as a name, will possess magical powers. And in that legend, they were saying that Pythagoras, the famous mathematician, he took the name Y for a week, and of course he's like 1,000 years after he is really well known by everybody. I think it worked, and also Y is the symbol of of the path that everyone can be a good and bad. So I thought it's really inspiring for the Y generation that we are. The young people. So I thought it's really inspiring, and by carrying the name of the letter Y, I thought I might inspire the generation to choose the good path and become magical.
Interesting. So that's the hidden story behind it.
Yeah, that no one knows. First time. I'm just kidding.
So when there are two paths, a good one and a bad one,
yeah.
Do you think like you're going the good one, or do you think like sometimes there is moments when the magic leads you to another path?
No, I don't. I try to stay out of black magic as hard as possible and fight black magic. I would call nowadays, as a skeptical person, I would call black magic the people that are fortune telling for money and misleading people with diagnosis and stuff like this. I'm trying to stay away from this and fight this as much as possible. Also the scams on the streets. We were doing some videos that were kind of like making people aware that there are scams with 3-card Monty or stuff like this. But I'm planning to do much more in the future. This is one of the steps in between of, doing magic to make people smile, curing autism, and in between there will be some social help from magicians to people not being cheated in daily life.
Wow.
Because when I do magic, when somebody's coming to my show, when a corporation is hiring me, or you ask me to be interviewed and do some magic, I'm a magician, and you know that I cheat. So this is the most honest profession, because I promise to cheat and I cheat, right? Do exactly what I promised, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is that if somebody's using the same techniques to really cheat people without saying, like, they say they can tell like the future and they take money for it and it's bullshit, then then it's not okay.
Absolutely.
I want to fight
so
this.
Even though you're wearing black, you're actually a white wizard.
Yeah, in my heart I'm white wizard, like Gandalf.
So you make things disappear. You break phones and you create lollipops. What can you not do?
I've done a lot of stuff with money. I like to think that I don't often make stuff disappear. I like to think of myself as more like appearing stuff because it's more productive, like lollipops or money. It will sound like I'm like cocky, but I'm not. But I can do anything. But it's not that I am so great. It's that I believe anything is possible with the amount of work and practice. So it's funny to be a magician as a lifestyle because you almost never say no to an idea. You just have this idea, and after a couple of years you might figure out how to do it. So you would say it's impossible for somebody to levitate, and I would say there will be a way to maybe make it look like somebody is levitating. But also there is another step, and we often say that magic is just a science that we don't know yet. I don't know if you've seen those jetpacks that people are working on.
True.
So they are basically levitating, right? So like imagine what will be possible in 100 years. I think everything is possible.
What does a everyday life of a magician look like?
So I wake up 4:30 in the morning. I start to shuffle my playing cards. Just kidding. I never wake up at 4:30 in the morning. No, it's just like typical job. No, okay. I'm trying to make it. No, it's not typical job. Like every day is different. So there are days that I'm going to interview, and today I'm going to the corporate gig, right? So it will be a different day because then we will be talking. Then I'm gonna go home, prepare for my show, and do the show. There will be day where I go to shoot my videos on the street. And then for a whole day I'm on the street with a lot of sun and then often sunburns. So I get ready in the morning and then I go to shoot this. So every day is different. Sometimes I stay at house and just work on magic. It's kind of nice. There are some pluses and minuses because obviously I don't know what I'll be doing in a week or a month. I can check the calendar, but I'm not like, this is not scheduled perfectly. But in the other side, I never get bored because I'm not working 8 to 16, so 8 to 4, right? So
absolutely. Cool. Because you meet people in the street, you meet different people also in your videos. How people react on your magic? Do they ever freak out? For example, have you ever a moment when someone totally freaked out or exposed you?
People are freaking out. I don't believe that I got a situation in which somebody would expose me. Like, I think there is too much tension to that word because, you know, as I said, this is a magic trick that's supposed to bring you joy and the feeling of astonishment. So if somebody is doing that, they are mostly hurting themselves. You know, my ego is okay. Like, I can cut it out actually. So in most of the situations, people, they want to play, they want to have fun, and but some of the people, they are skeptical, and when they cannot figure it out, then they start to freak out. There are different, situations. I like to think that everybody is equal to magic, so it doesn't matter if I have a celebrity because I've done a few videos with famous people, or it's a person on the street. It's like camera guy who I will be doing magic after the interview, and they all react to magic, but the difference is just in a character, or the magic that I'm presenting. I had the situation when somebody was really scared, but it's obvious because I produced this real spider in their house. Yeah, I won't be doing that for you.
I'm not inviting you then.
Yeah, there were situations where I was doing magic and I wasn't expecting the reaction, so one singer, she cried. She was so moved that she cried. So it was a genuine reaction, and I loved that. So it's for me, it's the thing that I'm living for, the reactions, and I love that everybody is reacting. I never met somebody that magic would be like, But also everybody is different, so every time the reaction is different.
So I think it's a time for a little bit of magic.
Do you want to see some magic?
Yes.
So let's try this. I have a pen here somewhere, because I have a mic here. Can you hold up the hands like this? Yeah, perfect. Like that.
Okay.
Perfect. and hold it like this. And are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay, so I want you to close both fists. And because of what you said, you might think I am cheating because I ask you if you're right-handed and maybe I want to force you to choose right hand. Or I'm just saying that for you, so you will be thinking that you want to cheat at me and choose the left hand. But anyway, I want you to choose one hand and just say left or right. It's a free choice. Which one do we use?
Right.
Right, okay. So open the right one, keep the left one closed.
Yes.
And go like this. I'm going to write the letter Y here, which is my name. You can check it out.
There is a letter
Okay.
Y.
Watch carefully. I'm going to take the letter Y. It's not wearing off, right? But I'm going to take it. Just grab it from your hand. Like this. I have it.
Yes.
And watch, I'm going to just...
He grabbed it out.
Look.
There's no magic Y.
I never touched you, right? I'm going to drop it into your left hand before you open, okay?
Yes.
Did I come near you?
No.
There is a table between us.
There is a table between us. He didn't come near me.
I didn't touch you.
He didn't touch me.
Can you open the hand slowly? Check out what you...
There is Y here. Do you see it? He didn't touch me. That's true.
Check if it's permanent.
And it's permanent. I cannot get rid of it.
It's a tattoo.
It's a tattoo.
No, it's not a tattoo.
Now I'm marked. I'm signed up already.
Now you won't regret my name. Why? Never, right?
That was real magic. Thank you for watching Poland Daily Culture.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ryszard Gromadzki, and I'm here with the historian Piotr Dmitrowicz. On January 18, 1654, a treaty was reached in Pereslav, a village in Ukraine. A treaty because this is what the political act qualified as, between the Zaporozhian Cossacks and the Tsar of the Russian Empire, Alexei Mikhailovich. It was a political act in which the Zaporozhian Cossacks succumbed to the control of the Russian Empire. It was a political act that was projected onto Poland in a very direct and sinister way, which had consequences for us for a long time. Undoubtedly, especially so because there are some historians who do not hesitate to say that it was actually the first partition of Poland or the beginning of the end of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. It was a turning point in our history, undoubtedly. That's right. You can probably look at what happened in different ways. From the point of view of the Commonwealth, Bogdan Khmelnytsky, the leader of the Zaporozhian Cossacks, betrayed the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth in Pereslav and, as a subject of the Polish king, joined up with a foreign power. Not only that, for Russia it was the beginning of building their own imperial project, because it is difficult to imagine these imperial attempts later developed by Russia without controlling the territory of Ukraine. It sounds very current because they are the pearl in the crown Moscow wants. Geopolitics will not change. In Russia's plans, whether it was the Russian Empire or the Soviet Union, Ukraine has always played this important role as a foothold to move towards. But also, Piotr, it was very symbolic. It was the first center of the Russian state, the core of Rus, the core of orthodoxy, allowing the Russian Tsar will play the role as the defender of Orthodox Christianity in the system. Of course, this religious element was also a political weapon used by the Tsarist policy. Let us say that one might see Khmelnytsky as a shrewd politician, but he did not foresee one thing there, namely that every country or political organism that begins to form a mutual agreement with Russia, whatever it may be, white, red, Tsarist or other, is usually later defeated and dominated. Russia is usually very happy to help other nations in this sinister way. Let us remember that this arrangement was portrayed a kind of protection for the Cossacks. We will help you, they said. said. We know from history what happens when Russia helps and looks after other nations in this way. Anyway, the delegate was portraying an attitude similar to that of the Tsar of Moscow. This was very clearly expressed by Vasily Buturlin, who on his behalf was signing this agreement in Pereyaslav with Zaporozhian Cossacks. Already from his speeches in Pereyaslav, it was easy to realize that it would not result in the sovereignty that is vital for the legendary freedom and liberation of the Zaporozhian Cossacks. Absolutely. Looking at the next decades, we know that eventually it was the Tsarina Catherine the Great who terminated the so-called Golden Cossack freedom for good. It was completely annihilated, but it took more than 100 years to fully dismantle Cossack freedom. Yes, however, before settlements took place in Pereyaslav, Russia closely watched what was happening in Ukraine. We would be dishonest if we did not mention Polish mistakes, because coming back to the year of 1648, that is, the outbreak of the Khmelnytsky uprising. That's right, Khmelnytsky's uprising. Actually, it was yet another of those Cossack uprisings. Poland tried and spoke many times about the chances of creating a joint Polish-Lithuanian-Ruthenian Commonwealth. Let us recall the Treaty of Hadiach, which was signed in 1658 between Poland and the Cossacks, for example. But there were more such initiatives and supporters of this state formula. Unfortunately, it could not be embodied, not only because of errors in Polish politics, but also the attitude of the Zaporozhian Cossacks played an important role. The amount of sins on the Polish side, however, is also very considerable. It absolutely cannot be hidden. Without a doubt. And on the other hand, we have the example of an extremely pragmatic policy, again, to put it very mildly, conduction by the Russians, a Tsar who can not only exploit the weakness of Poland, not only get along with Khmelnytsky, but also to take over those strategic voivodeships we are talking about, Bratslav, Cherniv and Kiev. Coming back to the beginning of our conversation, in a way it can be treated as one of the first partitions of Poland. Well, as it turned out later, it was an irretrievable loss of initiative. The culmination of the entire history sequence of this episode in history was the truce in Andrusovo in 1667, which confirmed the status quo that was created after the Khmelnytsky uprising and Moscow's war against the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Let's remind people that during the uprising in 1654, the Russian army attacked the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. The effect of this campaign was, unfortunately, very negative for Poland and, as you said, a turning point in our history. Of course, there were questions raised all the time about how this situation could be reversed and how much of Moscow's imperial pressure could be countered by us. These seem to be unanswered questions. There are definitely no definite answers here, but one thing is certain. From the end of the 17th century, the Republic of Poland was on the defensive, and when we look at the beginning of the 18th century, the rule of the Wettin dynasty in Poland, and on the other side, we had the Russian Tsar, Peter the Great. The empire is strengthening and the Commonwealth is weakening for many reasons. As you said, what started this situation off were issues that took place in the years 1648, 1654 as well. Then we have the Swedish deluge, a number of other fatal events that greatly weakened the potential of the Polish state, while Moscow was constantly strengthening. We were not able to oppose it efficiently. Unfortunately, we have been maneuvered into it, and it may sound banal, but it is worth looking at what this policy of the Commonwealth in the 17th century looked like and what Russia's policy looked like. Because, as I say, certain geopolitical aspects of these activities in Russia's view of Europe have not changed.
Pewne aspekty tych działań i patrzenia Rosji na Europę się nie zmieniły.
They are universal, impossible, and as for Ukraine, the Zaporozhian Cossacks, Khmelnytskiy's calculation was a failure. He thought that he would be able to trick his Russian partner, but the opposite happened. It was impossible for them to create a free Cossack state.
Udało się stworzyć wolnego państwa kozackiego.
Może na koniec taka ciekawostka, że 300 lat później Nikita Sergejewicz Chrushchev.
Let me add a fun fact. 300 years later, Nikita Khrushchev, on the occasion of this anniversary, somehow gave Crimea as a present to the Ukrainian Socialist Republic. Of course, this was during the Soviet Union, so nothing was truly given to anyone. This has had its consequences recently, however.
Co miało swoje konsekwencje w ostatnich chociażby latach.
That is right. Vladimir Putin took Crimea from Ukraine, which it had obtained in 1964 from Nikita Khrushchev on the 300th anniversary of the Treaty in Pereyaslav. Thank you, Piotr, and thank to all our viewers for watching.
Dziękuję Państwu. Do zobaczenia.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic edition of Poland Daily Travel. This time we are right in the middle of Poland. Well, you would expect us to be in Poland, but we really are pretty much in the center of Poland in a place called Sept. Sept, that's right. And that is where we are, well, we find our, this museum and these figures. These are authentic figures of the countryside. That's right. No, this is an ethnic museum, a museum of the countryside of Mazowiecka. And it's an extremely interesting place. Here they recreate the way people lived in the countryside 100 years ago, 200 years ago, 300 years ago. So there's a lot of folklore here and a lot of really interesting buildings to see, and a beautiful park to go with it. So it's going to be a lot of fun on Poland Daily Travel. I'm Will, and with me today will be Artur Gorniewski. That's right, you may remember him from Radiowice Palace and previous episodes. He's back. He's back. Now this place, I got to tell you, if I can just find him, I don't know where he is right now. Arthur! Arthur!
Hello! Hi!
He's right behind me. He's hiding.
Will!
He's hiding behind me. Come out.
What
an
introduction.
Arthur, good to see you.
Good to see you.
You were hiding the whole time.
No, I was just checking if you are talking the right things, and I must tell that you are.
Was it okay? Was it all right?
No, actually, the figures were very much satisfied with the introduction.
They liked it?
You could feel the souls of Polish countryside people who are so happy that there is a man who will show to everyone this beautiful place and the roots of our history and our countryside beautiful houses in their original shape in here.
Gosh, I wish I'd said that. Stay with us for more of Poland Daily Travel here at the Museum of the Polish Countryside in beautiful Sept in Mazowiecka, Poland. We'll be right back. Stay with us. With me and with Arthur.
Sept.
Just here. How do you say it?
Sept.
Sept. Sept.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Sept. Sept. Okay.
Sept.
Hello everybody and welcome to Poland Daily Travel. This series of episodes we're traveling into the countryside and into the past. The town of Sept, 1.5 hours from Warsaw to the northwest. Here you will find the Museum of the Polish Countryside. We'll travel into the past to see what life was like 100, 200, 250 years ago in Poland. That is, in the Polish countryside. This living museum is set on 60 hectares. There's a manor house and all kinds of different farmhouses. You could easily spend a whole day here wandering through the past. That's what we did. The Polish word for these living history museums is skansen, and it's kind of a speciality of Polish culture. If you're heading from Warsaw, say, to Torun or to Gdansk, it's well worth stopping off, making a slight diversion. It's fun for kids of all ages. So let's take a walk through the Museum of the Polish Countryside in Mazowsza at Sept. We hope you like what you see, so like us on YouTube and subscribe. Poland Daily Travel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're here in the Museum of the... Arthur, what is it?
Sept Muzeum Wsi Mazowieckiej.
That's easy for you to say.
Yes.
Sierpc.
Sierpc. Only if there is no silent R in our language.
Okay. All right, Sierpc. We're here, and the one rule about the country is don't talk about the goat. Don't make the goat angry. Just leave the goat alone. That's the rule we have. At any rate, if there is a goat, I don't see a goat.
Well, I don't see one either.
No.
Unless it wears a hat and a blue shirt.
Oh,
so
very
then
nice.
there is one that I can see.
Well, I see one on the blue shirt, but no hat.
Okay, so there are
Wait,
two,
let me
but
give you my hat.
no more than this.
Okay. Listen, what are your favorite things about the countryside and Poland?
It's like even in ancient Roman Empire, they were saying that all the best things are in their countryside. And this is what every single person in a big city says, that the nature, that the pure values and virtues come from the countryside. And the Polish countryside have stayed very natural, untouched. There are very fertile soils in here, and a lot of food is come. Once upon a time, we were called the granary of Europe. So, with good business, there was good culture developing in here. When among these original buildings, we will see original churches, countryside houses, cottages. Maybe we will see some animals later. I don't know if we'll find some.
I want to ride a horse.
You want to ride
Can
a
I
horse?
ride a horse?
Okay, I'm ready.
No, not you. A real horse. You want to ride the goat. I can tell. And I mean that in a nice way. The things about the countryside in Poland, I think the big point you made is that it's very natural. Yeah. And that's amazing, that the countryside here is pretty unspoiled. And Poland's a very rural country. It's a country with a lot of farming, as you said. I think France and Poland are the two biggest farming nations in Europe, I believe. And I like how you shake your head. I think that's true. I don't have my... Can you check those statistics?
Oh, there's just flying something.
Can you get back to, can you get back to me? But I believe that's true.
Yeah.
But at any rate, what we're going to see actually is a collection of buildings and some animals and things like that, which will give us a better introduction to what the countryside of Poland is like.
And it's a perfect place, because even in Poland, the Museum of Mazowian village that we are visiting at the moment in the city of Sierpc, which is only 1.5 hours away from Warsaw, is considered to be the best of such museums in our country. And that's why more and more people come in here just to spend some time. They even constructed themselves a conference center in here and a hotel. We'll see these places later on. But so far, let's search this place for some animals.
You want to see animals? Let's just walk around and see what we see.
Okay.
I think there's a lot in store, and I think we're going to meet with. We may have a guide.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Her name is Gosia.
Yeah, her name is Gosia?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go and look for Gosia, who's going to help us and take us around and see what we can see here in the Museum of the Polish Countryside on a very kind of a blustery day, but still a fine day, isn't it?
Isn't it beautiful?
It's a beautiful day. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for the next exciting installment of Poland Daily Travel with me, with Arthur. I'm Will, this is Arthur, and we look forward to seeing you in the next installment. Yeah, let's go. You want to go talk to the goat? Come on.
Where's the goat? Uh-oh. She looks at us. Can you see these horns?
Yeah.
Well, me too.